Good morning, everybody. It is money season. Is it money season? I don't know, but my office has handed out a lot of big checks, settlement checks to my clients recently, which begs the question, what can we do with all that money? Good morning, everybody. It is your accident and injury attorney, Jobeth here, coming from my Elkton office. I am running slightly behind here. Good morning, Ted. We are going to try again here to give out a pair of tickets to the Elkton Magic event. This is going to be amazing. If you didn't pick up on this last week or are unaware of this, maybe you're living under a rock, the Jokers of Magic is going to be an absolute epic time right here in Elkton. This is some Vegas level entertainment without you having to get on an airplane to go someplace like Vegas or a cruise ship or otherwise. It's that caliber of entertainment. In fact, everything that Elkton Magic brings here is that caliber entertainment, but you're also paying very reasonable prices. Most of the shows that you go see in Vegas start at like $50 or $60 for like the cheap seats in Vegas. Here, our most expensive seats at this show, the VIP seats that get you in the very front row, only cost $45. That gets you front row seats and a meet and greet. And it's my understanding that those are selling pretty quickly. So if you are interested in something like that, you need to go to elktonmagic.com, grab those tickets ASAP, because those are going to be gone before you know it. If we've got enough people, please comment in the chat as you're watching here. I am compiling names to hopefully give away a pair of tickets. Good morning, Laurie. You are entered, assuming we get to 5 here, to win a pair of tickets to this show that is going to be March 15th at Elkton High School. It's going to be a fantastic and fun show. But today we are talking about the topic of money, specifically the money that you get from settlement checks. And this is going to be a relatively short episode because it's not a complex concept here. It's more of kind of how to deal with banks. Because what I'm not going to do, because I'm not qualified to do this, is give you specific advice as far as like financial planning. I am not a financial planner. I'm not going to tell you how to invest this money afterwards. There is one thing that I do regularly talk about with my clients that I have spoken about before on one of these episodes, and that is putting your money into a structured settlement. I'll put a link in the comments here or in the description on YouTube that'll take you back to that episode so that if you need a refresher or have trouble finding that, ultimately, if you take the settlement money, which, as we've talked about on previous episodes, is not income, not from an auto accident settlement, you're not going to pay taxes on it. You're not going to have withholdings. You're not going to get tax forms from any of the insurance companies. It's a very rare opportunity to get a large chunk of tax-free money. But the real reason that I am putting this episode or having this conversation with this topic here is because I've gotten a lot of feedback from my bank specifically that clients of mine receiving large settlement checks, $40, $50, $60, $70,000 due to them, show up at the bank, sign the back of this check and say, hey, give me 60 grand, give me 70 grand, give me 80 grand. And the reality of the situation is that most banks don't have the ability to just on a whim drop that kind of cash on you. So I wanted to just talk today very briefly about the logistics of acquiring that kind of cash and what to physically do with your settlement check when you leave my office. So I'm going to attack the issue of, hey, I want a big stack of cash, because maybe you want a big stack of cash. You can do this. The bank will do this, but you can't show up unannounced with a large check. You might be able to get away with 10 grand. But once you get beyond 10 grand, they only have so much cash in the branch at any given time. So what you need to do is one of two things, and maybe these two things in conjunction. If you already have an account with that bank, and it doesn't matter what bank it is, it doesn't have to be my bank. It could be my bank, it could be your bank. It really doesn't matter. But what you'll want to do is deposit that check into an account. Number one, that makes sure it's safe. You don't have to worry about losing that check. Maybe you've signed that check and you didn't write for deposit only on it because you were planning on walking away with a bunch of cash. If somebody grabs that check and it only has your signature on, some institutions are going to go and execute that for them. I highly recommend against taking it to a check cashing place because they're going to take a big percentage out of it. It's your money. You don't need to pay that percentage. Most banks will give you an account for $0, especially if you're putting a large chunk of money in it. But if you want the cash, you need to give them a heads up. And it may take them at least a week, depending on the bank, to be able to accumulate that amount of money. Will they get you $50,000 that you can come pick up and walk out of their branch with? Yes. Do they have it sitting there waiting for you right now? No. So you got to give them a heads up. They're only going to do it if you have an account with them. So again, it doesn't have to be my bank. It can be your bank. It could be any bank that you feel like setting up an account with for the very first time. It doesn't matter where you go, but go there, have an account, and then say, hey, I want to withdraw this money in cash. When can I do it? Because the answer to that question won't be today, but they will know because this is what they do. Hey, we can put it in an order. We can have the money here by Tuesday or by Thursday, or it won't be till next Monday. Whatever it is, they're going to have an answer for you. They're going to have an answer for you. And if you want it, they will have the money there waiting for you. You just can't blindside them with it. That's the only thing. Again, as I said, the structured settlement is great if you don't have an immediate use for all of your money. You don't have to put all the money into a structure. You could put some of the money into the structure. Let's say you're getting $70,000 and you want 20 to play around with. Great. Put the other 50 in a structure. Let that grow. Depending on how long you let it sit, you might be able to grow that money tax-free if it goes into a structured settlement the right way. So you can't go buy an annuity afterwards and expect it to be tax-free. You have to do this at the time of settlement. There's specific language that needs to go into the release of claims. Like I said, we've talked about it before. I'm going to put the link to the interview that I did about structured settlements in the YouTube description so you can go back and reference that. That is the best tax-free way. It may not be the greatest guaranteed gain over time. You may be able to put that money into the market and do better with it as far as a return, but most of those options are not going to be tax-free. Definitely speak to an actual qualified investment advisor or financial advisor to get all of the angles on that. But if there's something that you're doing at the time of settlement to shield it from the taxes, it has to be done as part of the release in the language of getting things done. And otherwise, put it in the bank. Put it in the bank before you do something with it. Keep it safe. And if you are looking to get a large chunk of that money out from your bank, then give them a heads up because they're just going to be disappointed. They're going to be upset with you. You're going to be upset with them. Nobody wins. But if you order that money and then come back, they will be able to have it ready for you. They just need that heads up. So that's all we have for today. It's not a super legal topic, but it's been something because we have been, quite frankly, we've been doing a great job for our clients. We've been giving our clients a lot of very, very big settlement checks. And that settlement check, for anybody who doesn't know, with my office, unless you've explicitly and specifically told us, don't pay this, don't pay that, and we're allowed to do so, because some of them we're not allowed to. If it's those liens with health insurance companies, we have to pay them. Everything that you're walking away with from my office means that everything related to the accident case has been handled. So not only do you have that big check, but you have peace of mind that all the bills are paid, the attorney's fees are handled. These big checks are what my clients are walking away with after we resolve our claim. Now, as you've listened here, I've said a lot of different numbers. Every single case is very, very different. So every situation, what injuries, what kind of insurance is there, whether or not my office has been able to navigate the process for you from step one. The more we're able to do, many, many times, the more money that we can put in your pocket. So that's it. That's it. Super simple topic, super short episode this week. If you've got a question or a topic that you want covered here, info@bowerslawmd.com. Make sure that you mention that it's a situation that you want covered on the podcast. Otherwise, we're going to take it as an inquiry for representation. We may not talk about it on the podcast unless it's a conversation or a question or a unique situation that's coming up a lot. Because as we see things that happen in big spurts, for example, I actually had the bank call me to say, hey, I just want to let you know, in case you get negative feedback from your clients trying to cash checks, because I've sent a whole lot of people out of my office with $10K settlement checks or more. Hey, we can't just cash those. We don't have that kind of cash sitting around here. I'm doing this episode because I got that call from my bank about this. So unless it's something that I see a lot of, I'm not going to just randomly do it. Make sure you mention that you want it answered on the podcast. We are out of time for this topic. We are not going to do this drawing this week. We're going to try again next week. Next week will be the last week that we can give these tickets away, because the show is the Saturday, the 15th, at the end of next week. So one more chance to hopefully win these tickets next week. Otherwise, just go to elktonmagic.com, buy those tickets. We've got an amazing, amazing lineup of performers here. This is going to be the funniest thing you've seen in a long time. So jump on over to elktonmagic.com, grab tickets. Hopefully we see you there for an amazing time. They are moving very, very quickly. We had almost 100 tickets sold this past weekend alone. So until next time, be well, be safe out there. We'll see you next week. Thank you.